Hi everyone, this is my heroic avatar of Sargeras God. This fight is actually one of the harder fights in the raid. Um, so we're going to break this down. Start with the talents. So for talents for this fight I used Abyssal Strike. This helps a lot for movement for Maiden and getting back into the avatar's attack range. Not necessary, but I'd recommend it, especially in your first kill. Fallout, Flame Crash, Fracture, Concentrated, and Spirit Bomb. These five really don't change. And then Demonic Infusion, because roughly 90% of all the damage you're going to take is physical damage. You're always tanking either the Avatar or the Maiden at all points of the fight. So Demonic Infusion is huge. More uptime of DS is important. You still use Spirit Bomb and Fracture. Don't take Feed the Demon, because this is how you heal. So gear wise, Dark Moon card, it's the best trinket you can use. Like 90% of all the damage you're going to take is physical, and this does anywhere between, and it was something like 5 to 9% physical mitigation all the time. So this trinket is huge. For legendaries, I used Archimond and Prydas. For other legendaries, you could use the boots would be okay because you're always hitting 2 targets the entire fight. The pants probably would be BIS with Demonic Infusion for the fight. I would probably use pants in trinket if I had the pants. If you don't have any of these, the leech ring would be okay. Not great, but it would be okay. The waist would not be very good in this fight. And that's it. Everything else is subpar. So if you don't have any of the good ones, just wear what you have just for the eye level. 2-piece T20 would be huge in this fight if you have it. I did not on the kill. And that's it for gear. For consumables, Agility Flask and Agility Food. If you don't have those, or you're dying a lot, which is a real possibility on this fight, you can use a Stam Flask and Stam Food. That would also work. For potions, I use Prolonged Power, but you can also use Old War. And if you need more survival at key points of the fight, you can also use a, where is it? Potion of Unbending. I can't. It's Unbending Potion. There we go. It gives you 3,500 armor for 25 seconds. 90% of the damage you take is physical. Armor mitigates physical damage. Great defensive potion. And that really concludes the intro, so let's go ahead and take a look at the god. Alright, so here we are for positioning. Now, let's talk about how this fight is broken down, because this is very important. First off, this is the first fight in this dungeon that winning is completely on your shoulders. I don't want to scare any tanks away, but if we mess up even in the slightest, unless you're super overgeared, which none of us are at this point, you're going to wipe the raid, and it's going to be our fault. So I'm going to show you how to prevent that and how to handle this. We have, first off, let's take a look. We have these 5 pillars here. Well, not really pillars, they're beams, conduits, I suppose you would say. So these 5 conduits, and at the end, you have these little like balls, and those are important. What's going to happen is on the pole, one of the I don't know, balls will start shooting fire up. They're not really balls, but it's late, I'm tired. It's going to start shooting fire up, and when you see that, that is the conduit that's going to be activated. So we have to move Maiden into the conduit as fast as possible. If the beam hits the avatar for 3 to 7 seconds, you probably just wipe the raid. Like, you have to be pristine. And it's going to take you probably a few attempts to get down. And there's really nothing wrong with it. It's just going to take some practice. So the goal is to kill the avatar, get him as low as possible before going into phase 2. So to do that, phase 1 is more important than phase 2. Phase 2 is a joke if you do phase 1 correctly. So on the pull, I do not use Fiery Brand. I don't do the rotation that I normally do. I taunt her, and then I find which conduit's going to light up, and then I can pull the maiden over. So what we're going to do is it's going to start, and I'm going to taunt her, and I look and I see the fire shooting out of this conduit. So I'm going to pull her into the path ASAP. Just like that. And then what I'm going to do is, watch, I'm going to bring her, hang on, right there, into melee range, because the Avatar's hitbox is extremely large. And you don't want to DPS the maiden because she's going to kill herself, and I'll show you how. So what we want to do is get the Avatar as low as possible before you go into phase 2. So I'm going to bring her into melee, then I'm going to walk back out so she's not hitting me in the back. And then I'm going to target the Avatar, and I'm just going to DPS him. I'm going to passively Spirit Bomb the maiden, which is whatever, but yeah. Right now, Deviant tells me to taunt after the first Desolate. This is not how you do phase 1. You wait into the second Desolate before you taunt. The only thing that Desolate does is it increases the damage of the next Desolate. It doesn't do anything else. And the second Desolate really doesn't hurt. Like, I don't even worry about it. Sometimes I don't have Demon Spikes up because this is on cooldown or something. It's not that big of a deal. But you do want to taunt it too. So I just look at my target, and I watch this debuff stacks. So I just DPS the Avatar. Trying to keep up Demon Spikes as much as possible. And then right there, he gets a second Desolate. So I'm going to taunt the Avatar, and he's going to taunt the maiden. And he's been standing here the entire time in the beam, because when he taunts, we don't want her to move. Because you can see the beam hitting the maiden. This is proper positioning. So I'm going to keep DPSing the Avatar. And the first Desolate's going to come in, and watch my HP pull when I get hit. It doesn't do anything. See? Like that, like DS fell off before I got hit, and it still did nothing. So, Rupture Realities is important here. You have to get out of melee or you're going to get killed. The farther you are out of melee, the less damage you take. However, the Maiden's going to follow us, and Maiden cannot leave this beam. So we need to move and take the Maiden to the edge of the conduit. So we're going to tank her right there. That way she never leaves the beam. And then I'm going to jump back in. That way he doesn't turn and hit the melee. You have about 5 seconds to get back in. So right now, I got my second stack of Desolate. He moved Maiden into the correct position. The beam fell, and then he found the conduit and moved her right away. Now we're going to do a taunt switch. Once I get over on the beam, I'm going to taunt because I don't want to move her out of the beam. So there we go. I taunted it, and we're good here. I'm going to switch back and start DPSing the Avatar. Now, the Maiden is going to do this shield, and you have to burn through the shield, or you will instantly wipe every time. So at this point, you can switch and DPS it down. It's probably better if you're low in damage. But what I'm doing here instead, because I know our raid has plenty of damage to break it because everybody's alive, I know my damage is irrelevant. I'm still going to Spirit Bomb on her. I'm going to watch the tank and watch for the second Desolate. And once the second Desolate comes off, I'm going to taunt right now, and we're going to tank swap. Okay, once the shield breaks, take a note that the Maiden lost 25% of her health, and she gets stunned temporarily. But she's still stopping the beam, which is key. Reason why we don't want to touch her ever, like, you really don't touch her, you don't want to DPS her. This is not a cleave fight, this is a single target fight. She will kill herself. If you do this properly, if you do 0 damage to her, she'll still die. So don't bother. Only difference is if a Warlock wants to put like Agony on it to get more shards, or any other class that benefits from that sort of mechanic, then you just throw dots on her. Otherwise, you don't touch her. This is a single target fight. I'm going to pull through End Maiden. It was close. Alright, so we get another Rupture Realities. Again, we're going to move back out. Take note here. This Rupture Realities coincides with the beam stopping and going to a different conduit. And I didn't mention this before, but each conduit will be triggered exactly one time. And we mark them all because we're moving around the fight so much and we are taking so much damage that we have to tell healers where we're going. Like, alright, we're moving to Moon. Alright, we're at Star, etc. Because they need to move with you to keep you alive. So as soon as the beam stops, he starts taking her to the next conduit because if he's late, it's a wipe, and the movement is crucial. He knows he's not going to die to the realities. That's not going to happen. So he knows he just has to get the maiden into position. So I jump over here, and the maiden is already over here. And you can see how the fire's lit up again, so that's how we know where we're going. And then we walk her back to the boss. So we're going to do a tank. Oh, let me bring this up. These purple daggers is the worst part of this fight, especially when you're learning it. Basically, where the edge is pointing is where it's going to go. Whoever it hits is going to leave a purple puddle on the ground. So if it hits us, it leaves it here, and it really messes us up in positioning because we can't move maiden because of the beam. All you got to do is make sure it's not pointing at you. And there they go. When you first learn this fight, it's actually a little bit harder than you would expect. Well, not because of you, but because everybody has to pay attention. Alright, so the second shield's popping up. This overlaps with a Unbounding Chaos, I think it's called. Alright, so let me show you my mistake. So the dagger's pointing here, and on my screen it does not look like it's going to hit me. So I don't move. I should have sidestepped so she didn't move, but I'm out of the way. And there is the puddle. Now, this was a little serendipitous because the beam disappeared at the same time. So, no harm, no foul because we're moving anyways. But it's rare when you get that combination. So we move her to the next beam. We have more daggers coming out. Like, honestly, once you get the hang of this, this is the same thing for, was it like 5 minutes, 6 minutes, and you get the 4 shield. Yeah, so nothing's changed here, same thing. And now we should be moving to the next beam here soon. Yep, so, we gotta look and we gotta move. We got the daggers, don't get hit. Remember, moving her is the most important thing you can do, is highest priority. So we get in the third shield right now. You could switch to it if your DPS is low, but I want to point out something here. Come on. Alright, she's doing Ruptured Realities, meaning everybody has to run out, but she's also doing her shield. If the shield's about ready to break, you break it and then move out, but if not, you want to move her out and then break it. So we start DPS there, but we start moving her out, and then it breaks as we're moving out, and she's stunned there. And you notice she has less than 25% health, so the next time we break a shield, she will die. We should have the last conduit switch here in a sec. Yeah, she has 12% health left. You don't want people to kill her. Alright, so the last conduit's up. It's right next to us. Makes it easy. These conduits can spawn in any order, so if you go from one side to the other, it can get a little sketchy. But it's not too bad if you move right away. Now, I do want to point something out here. If the avatar is close to 100 energy, and she's still alive, you're not going to get the 4th shield. It is still possible to kill him if you turn and burn the maiden before he gets to 100 energy. Because if she's alive, when he gets there, he's going to eat her and heal for a shit ton, and it's going to wipe. So if you mess up the beam, all is not lost. So right now we're at 29% on Avatar. We could kill him in phase 2 at 29%. So if he was about ready to pop his 100 energy, we would all turn and burn the maiden. But we didn't screw up the beam, so we don't have to. It's better if you don't have to, because it gives you more time to DPS. And the more damage you do here, it makes phase 2 so much easier. Alright, so here's the last cleansing protocol. We want to burn this as quickly as possible. We're going to do a tank switch here. I don't know why I taunted her, you don't have to. But boom, she's dead. We jump out. And now he's going to slowly take up to 100 energy. And phase 2 is going to start. And there it is. Here's phase 2. So we're going into phase 2 at 19%. This is amazing for us, actually. This was our best pull by miles. So now we have this giant platform. What I do is I taunt, because I have the leap and the DK doesn't. I taunt and I jump into a corner of the room. What corner is irrelevant. Just pick a corner. So I taunt it and I'm just going to leap into the corner. Alright, so in phase 2, you're going to taunt on one Desolate. So, I'm going to point this out too. So as you hit a Desolate, he's going to taunt. These giant tornadoes that do a ton of damage. You need to dodge them. There's only 2 mechanics in this fight, in phase 2, that you have to worry about. The tornado and the knock-up, which I'll show you in a second. So basically, he's tanking, and I see this group of people are going to get knocked out. The damage is split amongst everybody else who stands in that circle. Knowing this, knowing I'm not going to have to tank the boss anytime soon, I'm going to go stack in it to help mitigate the damage. I'm just going to do a slight knock-up, and then I'm just going to glide, because glide's awesome. Or jump. Jump's also working. He's going to take his second Desolate, and shortly after, it's going to be a Rupture Realities. I'm going to taunt, then leap out to the next corner. Dodge the tornadoes. So he's going to break the platform. Then he's going to run to me. Alright, this is the first Desolate. He's going to taunt off me. I see that the purple stuff. I'm going to stand in again. There's the second Desolate. I know he's going to do Rupture Realities. I think I get hit by a tornado here. Yep, I didn't see it coming. That was bad of me. Now I'm going to taunt, jump to the next corner. Except he dies. So if you do the 4 shields properly, you're going to come down here with him at low health. Right there he was at 19%. He died in 2 ruptures. We've gotten down here at 35%, and he broke all the platform before we could kill him. Then again, people are dead too, keep in mind, so it was a little skewed. But yeah, that's it. This is a very hard fight. Well, it is, compared to Kill Jaden, this is a hard fight. A ton of damage, you're going to die a lot. Healers have to spam on you in phase 1. And you have to control the beam. If you don't, you're going to wipe it every time. So that concludes my guide on Heroic Avatar of Sargeras. If you have any questions, please post in the comments. If you like, please give it a thumbs up or subscribe. Thank you for watching.